Section 10.1 is all about percents, and we're going to start basic and go through the more challenging percent problems as we work through. First thing you need to do is understand what the word percent means. The word percent comes from the Latin percentum. Percentum means per hundred. So a percent is just a ratio of some number compared to 100. So whenever you're trying to find a percent, you are going to put it over 100 to turn it into a percent. To change a fraction to a percent, the first thing you need to do is divide the numerator by the denominator, and this is going to give you a decimal. Next, you will multiply your decimal by 100, which is going to essentially move your decimal places 2 spots to the right, and then make sure you put a percent sign. So for example, let's change these fractions into percents. So if I was taking 67 100ths and making that a percent, the first thing I would do is take 67 divided by 100, which would give me 0.67. Then I would multiply that number by 100, and I would get 67%. If I had 11 20ths and I wanted that to be a percent, the first thing I would do would be to take 11 divided by 20, which is 0.55, and then you can multiply by 100, which gives you 55%. If you're trying to turn 15 16ths into a percent, first take 15 divided by 16, which is 0.9375, and then multiply it by 100. This is 93.75%. Make sure that you do pay attention to the label of percent. If not, it could cause you to misunderstand the information they've given you. In order to change a decimal to a percent, all you have to do is multiply the decimal by 100 and throw the percent sign on. So if I gave you the decimal 0.14 and I asked you to turn that into a percent, you would multiply it by 100, which would turn you into 14%. 0.893 as a percentage would be 89.3%. 0.7625 as a percentage would be 76.25%. To change a percent to a decimal, you first have to take the percent sign off and then you divide by 100. So if I gave you 35% and I asked you to turn that in a decimal, you would take 35 divided by 100, which would give you 0.35. 69.8% turned into a decimal would be 0.698%. Now, 0.5% is a trick question. Remember, 1/2 is 0.5. So you have 0.5 of a percent. So when you take 0.5 and divide it by 100, that's going to turn your decimal into 0.005. The next thing we'll calculate is percent change. The percent increase or decrease, which is also called the percent change, over a time is found with the following formula. You need to first take the amount in the latest period, usually your current period, and you need to subtract the amount in the previous period. Once you have that value, you then divide by the amount in the previous period, and once you have that value, then you turn it into a percent by multiplying by 100 and putting the percent symbol on. If the amount in the latest period is bigger than the amount in the previous, you're going to get a positive answer, which means you're dealing with percent increase. If the amount in the latest period is smaller than the amount in the previous period, the answer will be negative, which is going to be a percent decrease. So let's look at an example. In 2014, the Major League Baseball team with the most improved record for winning games was the LA Angels. In 2013, the Angels won 78 games. In 2014, the Angels won 98 games. Determine the percent increase in the number of games won by the Angels from 2013 to 2014. Okay, so when completing this problem, you have to decide what is the newest amount minus the oldest amount. Okay, well, the newest amount is going to be your 2014 data. In 2014, they won 98 games. The oldest amount is your 2013 data. In 2013, they only won 78 games. So if you take 98 divided by 78, you're going to get a 20. Then you need to divide this by the old amount of games won, which is 78. So if I take 20 and divide it by 78, I get the decimal 0.2564. Now that is not a percentage yet, so to turn it into a percentage, you then need to multiply it by 100 and put the percent sign on. So the percent increase is going to be 25.64%. So in 1 year, the Angels increased their amount of wins 25.64%. Another change in percentage that we use often is percent markups or markdowns, depending on the situation. So if you get a positive answer, you're going to consider it a markup. If you get a negative answer, you're going to consider it a markdown. Now notice it looks very similar to the formula we just used. First thing you need to do is figure out how much they're selling the item for, and then you subtract how much they paid for the item. So if we're talking a store here, and they're selling a sweater for $50 and they only paid $20, the numerator would be 50 minus 20, which would be 30. Then you have to divide by how much they paid, so we would divide by the 20, and then we'll multiply by 100%. So let's look at a situation. Holder Hardware pays $48.76 for glass fireplace screens. They regularly sell them for $79.88. At a sale, they sell them for $69.99. Determine A, the percent markup on the regular price, and B, the percent markup on the sale price. So there's two different problems going on here, so we're going to have to do this situation twice. Okay? So let's first look at the regular price, which is part A. Okay? How much are they selling them on the regular price? Well, on the regular price, they're selling them for $79.88. How much did they pay? They paid $48.76. So I need to take $79.88 minus $48.76, and let's figure out what that is. That is $31.12. Then I need to divide this by how much they paid. So if I divide that, I'm going to get a decimal of 0.638, and then I need to turn that into a percentage by multiplying by 100. So on a regular day in their company, you're paying a 63.8% markup. Now, what if they do the sale day? So on the sale day, they sell it for $69.99. They've still paid $48.76 for the item. So I need to take my $69.99 minus my $48.76, which is $21.23, and then I need to divide that by the $48.76, which is going to give me 0.435. So even on a day where they're having a major sale, you're still paying a 43.5% markup. Okay, this last example is not really related to a markup or a change. It's just related to a basic percentage problem. So let's read it and see if we can figure out how to set it up. Melissa wishes to buy a condominium home for $189,000. To obtain the mortgage loan, she must pay 20% of the selling price as a down payment. Determine the amount of Melissa's down payment. So some key words here that you ought to look for is the word of. If you ever see the word of, that means you're typically going to multiply. And then you know how much she started with. She started with $189,000, and that's how much the condo was. She's got to put 20% of that down. So what you need to do in this situation is to take the price of the condo, figure out what 20% of that is, and that's going to be how much her down payment is. So we need to take $189,000 times 20%, which is going to be 0.20. She has to have $37,800 up front as the down payment, or she will not be able to purchase this home.